Hello mamas and welcome. What I'm offering here is some very gentle yoga, very gentle movement suitable for the earlier stages of postpartum healing and recovery. Before we go any further, please make sure you have permission from your healthcare provider, your doctor, your midwife, to be engaging in gentle movement and exercise. And a very big reminder that there is no correct timeline for healing and recovery. Everyone has their own timing. So give your body, yourself, lots of love, lots of patience, and as much time as you need. So we'll start lying down on our backs. Now you may want to have a couple of blankets. I've got 2 blankets folded up for later. So if you have some blankets nearby, you can grab those. We'll start lying down on our backs. If your tailbone is feeling sensitive at all, feel free to slide one of those blankets, fold it up underneath your pelvis, underneath your sacrum. And let's have our feet flat on the ground. Walk your feet out a little bit wider than hip width apart, and let your knees drape slightly in towards each other. So it's this nice sort of restful position for your legs. Now we're going to take our arms out by our sides, and then cactus your arms. So you're bending your elbows about 90 degrees. Have the palms of your hands facing up to the ceiling. Elbows can be about shoulder height, depending on how that feels on your chest, on your shoulders. And here we're just going to pause and take some nice deep breaths. So if you can close your eyes, go ahead and do so. And then take big belly breaths in, slow and steady. And out, slow and steady. Relax as much as you can. Big, slow inhale breath. Nice calming exhale breath. Now stick with that for a few more rounds. One of the goals here is to keep the connection to our breath, to ourself, to our center, healthy and alive. So simply connecting into those deep, slow, calming breaths. Now we have our arms in this sort of cactus position to help open up across our chest and our shoulders, one of the parts of our body that can get pretty tight from all the holding, carrying, and feeding of babies. So simply lying here with your arms open like this can be a great tool for creating some balance between front body and back body. Now, if this is feeling like it's enough, then just stay as you are. But if you'd like to add on, you can slowly start to reach your arms up above your head, keeping your arms heavy towards the ground. Now inhale to reach your arms up. And then exhale, keeping your arms, your elbows really heavy. Just bend your elbows and slide them back down to that starting position, kind of elbows out in line with your shoulders. Now if you want to do that a couple more times, let's go ahead and do that. So inhaling, arms stretch up above your head. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed, your head nice and relaxed. And then exhale, just slide those elbows down again about shoulder height. And you've got one more round if you'd like. Breathing steady and deep, arms reach up. And exhale, arms slide down. Now we're going to keep our arms right where they are, feet nice and wide. And let's start to windshield wiper our knees. So drop your right knee in towards the center, your left knee out towards the side. Be mindful of any tenderness, and remember we're being very gentle with ourselves, very gentle with our bodies here. So not pushing through any discomfort, but really honoring wherever your body is at. And then we'll switch sides. So a nice slow windshield wiper over to the other side. And we're just starting to create a very soft little twist through our spine, very gentle, and a bit of movement in through our hip sockets. Windshield wiper over to the other side. And again, again, switching directions. Now we'll do a couple more rounds and we'll add on our head as well. So as you drape your right knee into the center, your left knee wide, turn your head towards your right arm. So you're turning your head in the opposite direction as your legs. And then come on back up through center and switch. So you're turning your head to the left as your knees drape over to the opposite side. Good, now let's do that one more time. So nice windshield wiper, a nice little massage, gentle massage for the back of your pelvis and your low back, switching sides again. And then come on back through center. Now let's take our hands down onto our belly, low belly, so from your navel, kind of just underneath your navel, and then you can gather your feet in a little bit so your feet are about hip width apart. Now we want to connect in with a really strong diaphragmatic breath, so belly breath, as well as we want to connect and start to reconnect back to some foundational core and pelvic floor support. So just kind of sending those signals back down to start slowly firing those foundational muscles. So on your inhale, just take a big breath in. Try to feel your hands lift slightly so your belly is expanding. And then with your exhale, slow exhale, start to engage that Kegel action. So you're trying to engage the pelvic floor. So you feel as if you are trying to stop the flow of pee. So you're engaging the vagina, perineum, and anus. So you're engaging those muscles. Hold for a count and then release on your inhale. Again, soft belly. Belly rises, feel your belly rise into your hands. Exhale as you slowly breathe out. Again, engage the pelvic floor. Try to feel that as best as you can. It might take some time to reconnect into that pelvic floor, all those muscles. So be patient. Again, relax the pelvic floor on your inhale. Belly lifts and expands. And then exhale. Pelvic floor engages, again, perineum, vagina, anus, all those muscles down below the waist, gently engaging and lifting, holding for a count, and then relax. Now we're going to add on to that. So on your inhale breath, same thing, belly expands, and let your low back just arch slightly. So you're letting your lower back lift off of the floor just a little bit more. So that's your inhale breath. And then with your exhale, you're going to try to tighten your belly, your abdominals, just below your navel, and use that pelvic floor engagement again to press your lower back down towards the floor. So your exhale, you're trying to use your lowest abdominals to press your lower back into the ground. Now inhale, relax. Belly expands, lower back lifts off of the floor. Exhale, engage the pelvic floor. Tighten below your belly button, so just those low abdominals, trying to send lower back down towards the floor. We're going to keep doing that. Try to make sure that your thighs and your butt muscles, your glutes, aren't tightening and clenching in order to do that rocking of the pelvis movement. It's just your low abdominals working, and it's subtle. So a few more rounds, but this is really important, foundational core rebuilding after birth. So inhale, belly relaxes, little arch of the spine. Exhale, tighten the low belly, pelvic floor engages, that Kegel action. Try to press low back into the floor, just using those low abdominals. 3 more times, breathing in. And breathing out. Pelvic floor and below the belly button, gently tightening to press low back down. Again, inhale breath. And exhale breath. Very last one, breathing in, little arch of the spine. And then exhale, gently tighten, engage, press lower back down towards the floor, and then just pause. Hold that for a count. And then relax and let it go. Good. Little hug of your knees in towards your chest. Give them a nice little squeeze, maybe a tiny little rock from side to side. Feel free to lift your forehead up towards your knees here as well if you want to. And then let's roll over to one side. Use your hands to help you come up to your seat. And we're moving to hands and knees. So come on to hands and knees. Cat and cow, bringing a bit of movement through the spine, a little balance through the spine. So you're going to let your belly soften down very gently. Shoulders gather back. Take a tiny tip open through your chest. Inhale, breath, big breath. Exhale, we're taking a rounding of the spine. You gather in and around towards your navel. Breathing in, starting again, nice soft, supple spine. Take it slow, there's no rush. Exhale, rounding. And 2 more rounds. Big breath. Connecting into your breathing. Close your eyes whenever it feels good if you can. Exhale, round your spine. Stretch open the back body. And last time, inhale, breath. And exhale, breath. Good. Now return to a neutral spine. Let's keep our left hand on the ground and we'll release our right arm up off of the floor. So we're going to sweep the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now if that feels way too intense, then place your right hand on the back of your pelvis and just work to really shrug your right shoulder back. So and again, nice little twist, soft rotation here through the spine. Inhale, breath, and then exhale, we'll thread the needle, right arm underneath the left. Back of the arm and shoulder come down to the ground. You can let that right side of your head, your right cheek rest on the floor. I'm tenting my left fingertips here on the mat and kind of hugging my left shoulder back again to create a bit of rotation and spiral through the spine. Really healthy rinsing twist through the spine. Let's take a big inhale and a cleansing exhale. Now replace that left hand strong onto the ground, unravel your right arm, sweeping your fingertips up to the ceiling or hand to the back of your pelvis, and then return your right hand to the mat. And let's switch sides. So left arm's going to open up, either reaching left fingertips straight up towards the ceiling or hand onto the back of your pelvis. Again, shrug that left shoulder back, take an inhale, and then exhale, thread left arm underneath the right back of the arm and shoulder to the floor, left side of your head, left cheek onto the floor, and then tent right fingertips so that you can hug your right shoulder back and pause. Take a slow and steady inhale and exhale. Right hand replaces to the mat. Take that unthread, that unwind of your left arm and reach the fingertips up, 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 or hand to the back of your pelvis, whichever one you are taking, and then return your left hand to the ground. Good. Child's pose. So let's keep our knees just a little bit wider here. Sink your hips back towards your heels. Nice and easy. Crawl yourself down. And please rest your forehead on the ground or even on a little stack of your hands. Now I want you to relax as much as you can. So maybe it's a little rock of your hips from side to side here. A little sway of your forehead from side to side. Get easy through your neck, easy through your shoulders. Get nice and soft into your hip sockets. Creating lots of space here through the back of the pelvis and your lower spine, your low back. One more deep belly breath in and out. Now, if you're happy here, feel free to stay. Coming up to hands and knees, if you'd like to add on, we're moving into puppy dog pose. So hips are going to stay above the knees. Hands are shoulder width apart. And we're just walking the hands forward, so it's like a sort of halfway version of downward dog, starting to open up into the chest and the shoulders a little bit more. Again, this is helping to open some of the tight areas in our body to create some balance between front body and back body. So forehead resting on the ground. Keep the arm muscles firm. Your arm muscles are engaged. and then heavy and soft through your chest. So even with a big sigh, let your chest melt down towards the ground. One more deep, deep breath. Now if you're in that puppy dog, lift your head up off the mat, your forehead off the mat, walk your hands back in. Now option to move to downward facing dog. If that's feeling a little too much for where you're at, you can return to child's pose or stick with that puppy dog pose. Please make sure that your hands are really wide, spread out. Your fingers are engaged into the mat, so you're supporting your wrists. Lift up through your hips and then try to send your hips back, and let's keep a little bend in the knees here so that there's some nice space for the backs of your legs. You don't have to slam back into those knee joints or hamstrings. You can keep some nice space there. Let your head hang, let your head dangle. Shake out your head there a little bit if you need to. Take a couple rounds of breath. Unwinding, releasing, connecting inwards to your breath, to your body, to your center. Now when you're ready, let's softly lower the knees back down to the ground. And we'll come to our seat. Now this is where these blankets are going to come in handy, especially if your perineum is still feeling pretty tender. Then I'll just show you an option of how to place some blankets so that you've got a little bit of lift, a little bit of space. So I've got these two blankets folded up, and you can kind of place them in this sort of V shape. And then your bum is going to sit about here, and it just gives you some lift and space for the perineum if you're still feeling tender there. So kind of like so. So sitting cross-legged, it also gives you a little lift underneath the pelvis, which is really great, especially if your hips are feeling a little bit tight. Nice tall spine. Let's just give the shoulders a little shrug. Keep our shoulders happy and moving forwards and up on an inhale. Back and down, release any tension. Exhale one more time, breathing in deep and slow. And releasing exhale as the shoulders fall back and down. Now we'll take the right hand out to the right side. Left arm comes up and over, and you can grab a hold of kind of the back of your head with that left hand. We'll take it into a nice soft little side stretch, side lean. So leaning over into that right hand, trying to allow the weight of your head to sink and rest into your left hand. And then we're trying to send our breath into that whole left side of your body, left armpit, left shoulder. Keep your face, your forehead relaxed. Breathe deep for one more round. Now all of these movements are very simple. Come on back up through center. But they can be so helpful in, again, just creating that sense of ease and connection and balance in your body. Come on over to the other side. So lean into the left hand. Right hand wraps around to the back of your head. Let the weight of your head lean into your right hand as you tip over and lean your weight into that left hand on the ground. And then breathe so much breath. So much space into that right side waist, right side ribs, right armpit, right shoulder. Calm and relaxed. Nice and soft through your face, your forehead, your jaw. And then rising back up through center, let's reach all 10 fingertips up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale breath. Now we'll rotate around to the right, so coming into a seated twist. Right hand tense behind you and left hand catches to the outside of your right thigh. Sit nice and tall and gather that right shoulder back as you spiral around towards the wall behind you. Breathe deep, cleansing breaths in through the nose and maybe out through the mouth if that feels good for you, if that feels like a nice release, or just in and out through the nose. One more breath here in your twist. Spiral down gently. Again, be very mindful of what your body is feeling like. Maybe it needs to be just a little gentler. Let's come on back through center, arms rise up again. We're going to go to the other side. So inhale, fingertips reach high, and then twisting around to the other side. Left hand behind you, right hand to outside of that left thigh. Keep your spine growing tall. Hug that left shoulder back and spiral around. Breathe deep, breathe steady. Breathe calm. 1 or 2 more rounds of breath. And then gently returning back to center. Let's stay seated. Just release your feet out in front of you. Soles of your feet touch. So you're in a butterfly shape of your legs. Now let's remember that we still have a lot of relaxin in the body. So your ligaments, your joints can be a little more loose, a little more lax. So don't push these stretches. Just go up to maybe about 60 or 70% edge of your max stretch. So you're not overstretching anything. So we're going to take a gentle little forward tip here, just to keep a bit of movement in through your hips and your pelvis. Leaning forwards just as far as works for you. Again, remembering that we're not going to our full max. We are holding back slightly so that we are protecting our ligaments and our joints, and then breathing. Deep inhales, cleansing exhales. Really fill up your lungs fully and empty your lungs out completely. Help to energize your body, your mind by breathing in lots of fresh breath, fresh oxygen, fresh energy, and breathing out any heaviness, any stagnancy, any fatigue. So really emptying right out to the bottoms of your lungs. Now let's come on back up. And then take your hands back behind you. Come onto those tented fingertips. And then just really work to squeeze your shoulder blades back. You can lean into your hands behind you slightly. You're trying to puff up through your chest, up through your sternum. You can even bring the full palms of your hands flat onto the ground behind you, and then take those shoulder blades, hug them back really firmly, and puff open through your chest. Calm face, relaxed face, forehead and jaw. Big inhale, big exhale. Mindfully come on back up through center. Let's open the legs into a very soft V, so we're coming into kind of a straddle position. And again, just 60 or 70% of your max, of your edge. Take a little lean forward. So we're keeping those inner thighs, hamstrings, right up into the groin, the inner pelvis there. Keeping it nice and supple. Making sure we don't get too tight or locked up. Deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth if you'd like, or in and out through the nose, nice and steady. One more round of breath. And then again, just walk yourself nice and slowly back up to center. Okay, coming off of your blankets, if you have yourself seated there on your blankets. Last thing we'll do is come onto our bellies. If your belly is feeling sensitive, either still from a cesarean birth or any other reason, then you don't have to lie on your belly. Again, please remember everything here is simply a suggestion. So if you'd like to just skip this and lie on your back instead, absolutely do so. So coming down onto our belly, we want to just create a bit of aliveness, a bit of strength through our back body. So we're going to have our fingertips tented just off of the mat, about shoulder height. Tops of your feet pressed down into the ground. And then gather your shoulders back, your shoulder blades back, and very lightly start to puff your chest forwards, up and open. You don't have to go very far. This can just be a tiny little movement. Take an inhale breath, and then exhale, take a soft little ripple down. And let's do that again 2 more times. So hugging the shoulders back, gentle little lift up, puffing your sternum, this heart center forwards and up. And then exhale, back down. Now last one, either do exactly what we were doing, fingertips tended to the ground, or take your hands down by your low ribs. Try not to press your hands into the ground, maybe even hover them off of the ground slightly, and gather your shoulders back, lifting slightly up through your chest, your shoulders, your head. So you're engaging that back line of your body, the muscles on the back of your body just a little bit more. Pause for an inhale, and then soften back down with your exhale. Hands in by low ribs. Let's pull all the way back to child's pose again. So bum to heels. Arms release out in front of you or back by your sides, whatever feels the most comfortable. Now we're just going to finish our practice here. So pause here for a breath or 2 or 3 or for however long you'd like to, or you can. Really connecting inwards to, again, your steady breath, your center. Releasing any unnecessary tension, any holding, any tightness. And one last deep breath. And maybe a big sigh to finish. And then walk yourself softly back up. And thank you for tuning in, for practicing. Namaste.